Welcome to my YouTube channel Coding with Ullanasheri. So in this video I will talk about the UVM callbacks. Who are familiar with the UVM, they might be knowing about the callbacks. They might have heard about this UVM callbacks, but they haven't implemented it yet. So in this video I will talk about UVM callbacks. Not the theory in detail, but we will have a very simple callbacks example with a very simple test bench. Okay, so coming to the slides, so this is the UVM callback session, and here I will go through these bullet points, and these are pretty simple. You can understand. I mean, the theory part you will get understand from many links are already available. Okay, so you can just refer them. I will go through the implementation details in the next slide. So mechanisms in UVM used to execute specific actions at predefined points during simulation. So these are callbacks basically used, like there will be some callback clauses and methods will be written over there, and those methods we can actually execute during the simulation at some points. Okay, next point is a very important point. The user prefers not to alter the main method's code but desires to modify its functionality. So that essentially means what? We actually have a base class where a method is defined. Okay, without modifying that main method or the base class, we can actually change or alter the functionalities of that method. That is basically the functionalities of UVM callbacks. Okay, but we need to do some extra things in that method. We need to have some UVM callbacks hooks. Okay, that I will explain in the coming slide. A component or objects method is changed by using callback classes. So that is essentially what UVM does, and callback classes will does. There will be a UVM will provide a UVM underscore callback classes essentially to implement these things. Next are different keywords which is related to the UVM callbacks. One is the UVM underscore callback. So these are, as I already mentioned, like these are base class for callbacks which are provided by the UVM. Next is UVM sorry UVM underscore callbacks are there, and these UVM underscore callbacks are essentially used to hold all the callbacks into a list. Okay, so these UVM underscore callbacks are essentially used to add the override methods, okay, which are actually defined in the UVM class, UVM callbacks. I will explain about all these things in detail. Don't worry about this. Now different macros are there. UVM register underscore CB callback. Essentially, this is used as same as the UVM component utils, and this essentially will register the given callback type with the given object type. UVM do callbacks to provide callback hooks. UVM. So this slide represents what I'm going to implement. Okay, this is a UVM callbacks implementation flow diagram, and here if you see, this is a very basic UVM test bench, and, and here if you and here if you see, there is a driver class, okay, an env and a base test is there, and in the driver class run phase, let's consider this is a slave responder. Okay, a slave responder where it will respond with a different responses. Let's say okay, x okay, slaver, and decker are the different responses that a driver should send, and the normal behavior or the normal response will be always okay. Okay, that is what we are actually driving at the run phase. Here I'm not going to have any kind of sequence item or sequence. We'll just have the driver code. Even we won't do a dot start. Okay, I just want to familiarize you like how callbacks are actually implemented here. And now the normal response will be okay. Okay, and now there will be a callback hooks to override the responses. So here we can actually alter the responses. So normally it will be okay only, but with the hookups we can actually make it slave error, x okay, or or deck error, like that. Okay, so how that is actually implemented? So there will be like a callback classes, as I already mentioned, right? In that callback classes there will be dummy, we will create dummy methods. Okay, that dummy methods, if you put that dummy method here, right, that is the hooks. Okay, and there won't, I mean the functionality won't be changing because there is nothing defined in the dummy method. Okay, and now what we will do here is, if we want to to inject some errors. Let's say slave error. We will do, we will extend this base test. Okay. Also we need to, so this is essentially the inheritance plus override, where we will extend the callback clauses and we will override the dummy methods. Okay. So that is what we will do here. We will be having that, and the override method, essentially what it will do is it will make the response type as slave error. Okay. And and in the extended base test, which is basically the error based test or error test, what we will do is we will, in the build phase, we will add this method, this override dummy method here. Okay, in the UVM callbacks. Okay, that is essentially what completely we will do here. So who are familiar with UVM, they will be confused here, like whether if we have that inheritance plus override thing, override functionality, why can't we use that instead of UVM callbacks? Okay, what I'm saying here is if the normal response is there, if that is in a function, why can't we why can't we have an extended driver and then just override it? But here, if you see here, right, we are we are actually listing all the methods we want in the callback classes, and we are just extending that, and we are using that extended classes. Okay, in the driver, I mean, we don't want to extend this driver code itself. Okay, so if in order to do that, we need to extend this driver and then override the normal response or the response function. But with this callbacks, we don't want to do that. Instead, we just need a callback and an extended callback class where we'll override the dummy method. Okay, and then just add the add we that is required basically, because that we are actually adding that method to the override method to the UVM callbacks. So now, coming to the coding, we can just do coding here. Okay, I will explain you what I will implement here. So this is an so as I mentioned, right, the different responses are like okay, x okay, slave error, and deck error. Okay, and here initially what we can do here is I will be creating a slave driver, slave env, and base test. Okay, and a top module which will run this base test, and then on top of that we can actually create the driver callbacks and the extended callbacks. Okay, and in the extended test we will add this slave error callback. Okay, so now first of all create a class driver, so slave driver. Okay, so now what we will do, slave driver is a component. Okay, so we will create a component which called slave driver. Okay, and this is a UVM component, that is fine. And component parent build phase, everything is done. Now what we will do here is we will just create this response type here, x. Okay, and this is the response type. Okay, so we'll declare a variable called response type. Now what we will do in the run phase, we can create a run phase here. Okay, and in the run phase, let the this is a parameter, essentially phase. Okay, and in the run phase, what we will do, we will repeat it two times. Let's say repeat two times, begin, end. Okay, now I will put rest type equal to okay. Okay, and I will just print the UVM info. Okay, and this is, let's say, debug, and in the $s format f, I can just put the rough type. Okay, percentage 0s. Okay, and here what we have to put here is the rough type dot name. Okay, and here this is the verbosity, we can put UVM none here. Okay, that's it. And now that is what I will do in the run phase. Okay, so here this will always drive okay responses, and and let's create a slave env actually, and that is a UVM component, and this is slave underscore env, and this we can put env here. We can just declare the slave driver as slv underscore drv. Okay, and in the build phase we can just create slave drive. Okay, equal to slave slave driver on type id create, and we can just pass slave drive as the string, and here this. Okay, so now we created the slave driver. Okay, and in the base test, this is our base test. Okay, let's create a UVM component. This is also component, and this is let's say base test. Okay, and this is our UVM test. Here we will just declare the slave env slv underscore env. Okay, and here slv underscore env equal to slave env type id create. Okay, and we'll just pass slave env and this, that's it. Okay, now we created the UVM test, class base test is there, slave env is there. Okay, and now with the top module, just create a top module. Okay, module top, and in the end module we are creating, and here in the initial begin and we can just create run test. This is base test, right? And that's it. Okay, so here we have created a symbol base test, and base test we have created and instantiate, and we will have this run phase. That's it. Okay, now let's execute this and see what actually happening. Okay, I mean I haven't touched the UVM callbacks yet. This is basically a symbol thing, and on top of this we can actually implement the other things. Okay, let me save this and let's run this. Okay, we just want to get this printed 2 times. That's the intention. There is no compilation error. UVM info. So yeah, the Rust type okay and Rust type okay. This is coming. So our code is good actually. Now we can just have a driver class called back here. That's an object. So UVM object. Okay. If you create UVM object here, then this should be a driver callback. Driver underscore callback. Okay. In the driver underscore callback, this extends from UVM callback. Okay, this extend from the UVM callback. Let me correct the spelling. Now we can see it is registered to the factory, and function new, everything we are doing here. Okay, and here we need the dummy class. Okay, let's create the function void, and then what is this? Let's say update resp. Okay, update response, like that we are providing. Okay, and let's make it virtual to override it in the extended class, extended driver callback. Okay, so that's it. Okay, that's it. And now this driver callback, so this is our slave driver, is our driver base driver. Okay, whatever driver we have. So now we need to register this driver callback here. So what we need is tick UVM register CB. Register callback will be there, and we will register with the slave driver and the driver callback. Okay, that's it. So we have done the register callback. Now here, now we need a callback hookup here. This is a callback hook. What here we'll do, we'll be having tick UVM callback, tick UVM callbacks, I think. Okay, so for that, just to confirm that actually we can macros we can take. Okay, so this is UVM do callbacks, so that is essentially what I am referring. UVM do callbacks, and then t comma cb and method is there. Okay, so here UVM do callbacks. Okay, and here we will be having what they are mentioning here, T and CB and method. Okay, so that is slave driver, the slave driver. Okay, if you see here, you can put a slave driver and a driver callback and what update resp. Okay, and here we need to alter this response type, right? So I will put that is a function where it will override the update resp in the extended class. So this will be extended and it will be resp, and let's put it as a ref so that it can we can directly reference that and change the value. Okay, so this update resp will be there, and sorry, this is the resp type. Okay, let's put update and resp type. Okay, that is basically our hookup. UVM do callbacks. Okay, and then later if you see here, right, UVM do callbacks we have done, and update response also done, right? And now what essentially we can do here is, we need to extend this driver callback, and and in the extended test we can override it. Okay, so just create an we can basically do an just create an object, UVM object, which extends the this is slave error callback, slave error callback. Okay, and this is UVM underscore, we will extend it from we'll extend that from error. This what is the call, this driver callback, right? So we will extend that from driver callback. Okay, slave error, and these are things are done. And here what we will do, um we here what we will do is we'll create the same thing here, and we will put it here. Okay, and in the function resp type we will make it as resp type equal to slave error. That's it. Okay, so now this in the slave extend the slave error, we put resp type as slave error always. Correct? We use the inheritance plus the override. Now we need, so let's say we are actually extending this base test and creating an error test, slave error test. How we can use this slave error callback, which will update this response as slave error always. So for that, what we need to create an UVM component, and this is slave error test. Okay, and we will extend this from where, we'll extend it from the base test. Okay, and in the base test what we'll do here, we need to create this slave error callback. Okay, this is an object, as I mentioned, right? We can just create an error callback, something like that, callback. We'll just instance it, and in the build phase, what we will do, we'll just create it slave error callback or type ID create. Okay, type ID create. Okay, and then we'll just pass it as error callback. We created it. Now next step is the, so if you look at this PPT, you can say, you can see the extended, in the extended base we'll add the override methods to the UVM callbacks. Okay, that is essentially what is next we have to, next I'm going to do. Okay, now for that let's go to the callback classes, and here to add, where is the UVM callbacks is there. Okay, so let's go to the UVM callbacks, and here it has an add, there is an add method here. So essentially what we need to do is we need to copy paste this here, and then add what is there in the add. Okay, what is there in the add? If you go to the add function, there is an object callback and ordering is there. Okay, so basically we need the what, which is object. So here here basically we need that slave driver as the object, and the callback is what the extended one. Okay, so what we can do is T and callback is nothing but the slave driver, and this is the driver callback, Okay, and in the add method, what we need the driver which we are actually the driver instance what we are actually interested in. That is actually in the slave env dot slave drive. Okay, slave drive is there, and then what is the object? What is the class? What is the override method we are interested in? We are actually interested in this thing, slave error callback. Okay, slave. That is a method name. What they are saying, that is a method name or what? It is a callback. Okay, it is called add this add by name. Add this is callback. So we need that extended callback. Okay, so whatever. So error callback we have actually created here, right? So this is what we need. That's it. Done. Okay. Now once we can execute. Okay, and then let's execute all these things. I think all we are done. We are good. So now let's go to the EDA playground and copy paste it here and save it. So now what we need, what we will see, we have to see that the this print will contains ref type as slave error. Let me run it. Let's see any compilation issues are there. No compilation issues. That's it. So here you can see type as slave error. That's it. That's what altogether I am planning to go over this slide. You can implement, I mean, you can just refer to these codes. I will put that in the description. Okay, this link to this code actually, and then you can refer and you can incorporate the same thing in your test bench. Okay. Thanks guys. Thanks for listening all these things. Thank you. We'll come with a new video.